Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and back at it again. If you are still here, we appreciate you. Just fresh off the latest episode of Wrestling Court. Welcome to the predictions and preview for Clash at the Castle and Against All Odds. One on Friday, one on Saturday. It's going to be a crazy couple days here on the channel. If you haven't noticed already, we're bringing you more content than you can shake a stick at. Me and these two pretty faces are going to get into all the predictions, all our thoughts for the upcoming pay-per-views. So get in that chat. Don't be quiet. Don't be shy. Click all the buttons. And welcome back to the Wrestling for Life Network. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again. That is Big Nick. That is Anthony. I am KJ White. We're going to go through another round of predictions and preview for two pay-per-views. We got lots to talk about, lots to get into. As I said on the kickoff, make sure you check out episode 3 of Wrestling Court, episode 4 coming soon. We love bringing you the battles of the hot topics in wrestling. We got lots more coming your way, so make sure you go check out those episodes and make sure you participate. Let us know what you would like to put on trial. But it should be a very interesting couple days here on the channel. Big pay-per-views leading off tomorrow at the same time as SmackDown from Glasgow. We have Against All Odds, and then Saturday, Brunch with the Boys 10, as we bring you all the reaction to Clash at the Castle. It's going to be a fun one. I don't think you're going to do your little preamble, Nick. No, we're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get in that chat, click all the buttons, be a friend, tell a friend. We are grinding towards 5K, and we're looking forward to hitting that milestone. We are so close. So if you know anybody that loves wrestling, even if they don't, just send them this way. I don't care if it's your auntie, your uncle, your cousins, their dog. I don't care who it is. If they have an account, have them sub to us as we are looking forward to hitting 5K. But without further ado, Mr. Big Nick, the floor is to you.
Well, do we want to start off with Clash or do we want to start off with Against All Odds?
Let's start off with Clash.
Okay, so Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark in a triple threat for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships.
Interesting, Anthony.
I mean, do we really have to say it's going to be the other teams? I think it's going to be Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Their WWE Triple H is really trying to build up this tag team, and I think it continues after Clash at the Castle.
I agree with that completely. I don't see it deviating very far from what you just said. They've been dominant. They set up a 3-way just to make it a little more, maybe it could happen, but let's be real.
I'm going to deviate. I'm going to take Alba Fire and Isla Dawn of it's a triple threat. It's in Scotland. I mean, T's and P's to Alba and everything with her family and everything as to recently and all that. But especially it's in Scotland. Again, you can use that. It's a triple threat. I'm not saying they're going to have a long reign. They're not going to have a dominant reign with it, but they'll have a reign with it. That I feel that if there's ever going to be a time, because otherwise they're just unbeatable. They're fucking, right. Megatron meets Voltron, all of this type of shit. They're otherwise Bianca and Jade, who beats them? God himself?
No, probably not.
We'd have to get Oba Femi to take on both of them.
No, and I actually think you might be a little bit right there, just a tad bit, because they could potentially win the match without pinning the tag champs. So you still make them look clean, make them look clean and strong. So yeah, you definitely have a point there. I can see that technically happening as well.
Okay, I don't. I'm gonna stick it out. And again, I think the Scottish sentiment will be a nice theme. I think they'll have a good match.
Yeah,
but I don't see. I mean, again, I would love it. I would blow up if they win. I don't see Jade and Belair losing already.
That's very valid. Like, that's the thing is, I know again this is fighting very much uphill, but you need there's got to at least be some Scottish victories out here. And I know how you might feel about some of the others. So there's got to at least be one. You can't have everybody show up over there, have a whole pay-per-view over there, and everybody from that country fucking lose.
Listen, I mean, everyone's hoping that they can beat the Germans tomorrow in soccer. We'll see if they can win a wrestling match on Saturday.
Everybody's always hoping they can beat the Germans, just out of principle.
Just out of principle.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Nick. I think my theory of people winning in their hometowns or home countries went out the window. Y'all gonna laugh, but when Beth Phoenix lost to Kelly in Buffalo, New York in 2010, that theory went out the window. That's why I said you're going.
My brain is melting right now. We're going all the way back to that's when the hometown advantage died. Like
I'm just saying, I'm from Buffalo. Beth's from Buffalo. I expected Beth to win, and they failed.
I'm a Beth fan, and I'm even like, what the fuck? They failed
since then.
Nobody wins in Buffalo.
Yeah, and no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. No one wins in Buffalo, New York.
Jadeberg. Like it. What's up, Chad? Get in there. Don't be quiet. Don't be shy. Let's go. Yeah, I think that's I don't see it changing. So
yeah.
I'm good with
the thing. You could be 100% right, but I'm gonna shoot that shot, my guy.
Not a problem.
Steph Curry from the deep.
89% of the chat right now thinks that the champions will retain. So there we go.
Valid. I'll give him that. So second match. As we've only got 5 matches on the card for Clash, by the way. Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable with the Alpha Academy at ringside, potentially for the WWE Intercontinental Championship.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'm going against all of the rumors and contracts because people think they know what they think. I'm going with Chad Gable. I think this is the first time I've clearly said Chad Gable when it came to their matches for the Intercontinental Championship. I feel like if you don't pull the trigger now, when do you pull it, right? So if he's sticking with WWE, I feel like Clash at the Castle is the moment Chad Gable walks out new IC champion.
I think I know what Nick's gonna say. I'm gonna go
Canadian partisanship.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sammy. Just on the fact of perhaps there's some way that this Otis thing still plays out, and he doesn't quite win it yet. Maybe he wins it at Money in the Bank.
Oh, we want Chad Gable. Oh, we want Chad Gable. 100%. This guy has to win this at this point.
Yeah.
The fact that Chad Gable's gone from Shorty G to one of the top topics in wrestling free agency is a fucking incredible credit to that man. 100% that he's made himself that valuable from being kicked that far down. So 100%. I've said this all the way going back to when he was challenging Gunther for the title, and Gunther made him cry in front of his kids and everything. That Chad Gable is going to be an IC champion. I think he's going to have it, and that's when we start to lead to an Ivy Nile, a Creed Brothers. He basically we rehash the Diamond Mine meets World's Greatest Tag Team. Team Angle. Instead of Team Angle, it's going to be Team Gable.
You got a valid point in the sense that I don't disagree. I think at some point, whether it's Saturday or soon, but I wonder if Chad winning the title makes him even more arrogant. Otis becomes his first challenger, in which that's when we introduce the new Alpha Academy, which we've been waiting for. As far as we haven't seen the Creed Brothers a whole lot, it feels like they're, it's kind of a WWE thing to do. Is when somebody's up to something, you don't see them, you don't hear from them.
Right. Yeah, but do you do that with the title or without the title? Like, do you do the Otis Gable storyline with the title versus without the title? To me, it works better.
I'm saying potentially. My original prediction is going to be without, but they could do it with, right? Like that could be a really good first defense. He'll, unless Otis is going to be the one that takes it from him, which then you got to drag it out. a little longer.
Well, maybe we get Tucky back, and then we get them. You know, we get Heavy Machinery in the tag division.
The return of Tucker, says Johnny Beans. There you go.
Right?
Is he Scottish? No. Okay.
No, not even close. A guy named Tucker. Is he Scottish? What the fuck?
Mick Tucker. If it was Mick Tucker.
Mick Tucker. That's what they call McDonald's over there. It's Mick Tucker's.
Come to Mick Tucker's, motherfucker. Stop it.
Set it on a tee and you knocked it out the park.
Well, with that being said, what's the next one? This is gonna be fast.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's what happens when there's only 5 matches here. A little bit. It's not like Tony Khan out here with 17. But
Right.
Bayley versus Piper Niven for the WWE Women's Championship.
Anthony.
I want Piper Niven. So I said this in my prediction video, which I'll be posting tomorrow, but I want Piper Niven, but I also want Bayley to have a lengthy title reign, or at least until SummerSlam. Piper's promo this past week really shocked me, and that's why I kind of want Piper, but I'm gonna stick with Bayley. Bayley retains the women's championship, and I feel like this is just going on a trend of all of the people from Scotland losing, but Bayley retains the WWE Women's Championship.
Ooh, you're right though. Piper killed it, and it was nice for her to come out and say, I know I was dewy at one point. I was dewdrop, and she didn't directly say that, but I know people don't really know who I am. But man, yeah. I was a monster in the UK and Europe for a long time before coming here. So I thought they did a really good job building her up as a challenge. I do think this is Bayley's match to win, and I think Bayley will go on to take on Nia Jax. She's got some heavy lifting to do this summer.
Mm-hmm.
I caught the double entendre there. I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, Piper Niven 100%. I've been a fan of even pre-Dewey age and everything like that. She very much on SmackDown came out. It's, my name is Piper, and to the Ivan of just out there, just hot fire. But yeah, this 100% like C-Money. I'm going to be singing a lot on stream of, hey, Bailey, I want to know.
Piper.
Be my girl. I honestly, I'd enjoy even still if Piper got that reaction, everything. Like, I'm just happy, honestly, more than anything. Like, we win in either way, because the fact that Piper Niven's gone from dewdrop to this spot, it is we winning already.
And I think for me, when it comes to Piper, like, I became a big fan of Piper when she competed in the Mae Young Classic back down, some years yonder. And that was the first time I saw Piper Niven ever wrestle. And I was completely shocked of how well she wrestled in that tournament. And then she went through that dewdrop phase, but now she's back competing for a women's title. So I love to see it for Piper Niven. I think this is very, very good, and I hope it does kind of continue down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And just real quick, Spaz, thank you so much for the super chat. So we will allow the shameless plug for 20 bones. But no, we appreciate the super chat. So fans who you're watching right now, don't shy away from our buddy Spaz. Go check out his preview as well. I'm sure it's cooking. Now back to the show.
Right, and back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Upped everything in its tracks. Nia is going to interfere in this, and this match is going to end in a DQ. Boo earns.
No,
I think this match ends clean, whatever direction they decide to go in. I think right now Nia Jax is focused on what is it? Is it Mia Yim Meechin? I think that's where her her head is right now. I actually don't think Nia gets involved. I think this match ends clean. Either way they decide to go.
Yeah, and I think it's better for both. I mean, you want Bayley to get a convincing, you want her to defend her title. Nia can wait in the wings for up next. She knows she has a title match coming So there's no reason to get involved. Like,
how much does Chelsea Green get involved though?
Substantially.
Oh yeah, substantially.
Does she potentially accidentally lead to the downfall of said Piper Niven?
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say when you mentioned Chelsea Green that now if anybody causes this match, it could be Chelsea Green just doing her antics. So I can definitely see that happening. This could be a segue to kind of split them apart. I don't want to see them split apart, but I also want them to both have a substantial, nice singles run. So this could be where you kind of put that wedge in there between them to kind of split them apart.
You start the turn because I mean I feel at some point we've got to get a Piper versus Chelsea match. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I feel like we're gonna get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Quite possible. Quite possible. Just real quick, the chat had Chad and Sammy at 50%. A stalemate, a hung jury, unlike earlier, a hung jury. Right. But right now, Bailey 75% to take the title back home from Scotland. So the chat's pretty strong in their opinion on this one. Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. It would be really cool for Piper to get it, but I still think that WWE understands that they're in a bit of a bubble and they can't really rearrange all their plans just because you're in Scotland.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, granted, Piper would almost, she off of one promo has almost established herself, especially on the SmackDown scene, to where she would fit outside of Scotland and everything as well, being involved in the title picture. So that being said, I think that not every Scotsman's going to win out, or Scotsman or Scotswoman, being inclusive, wins at Clash. And I think this is the one to where it's clearly kind of predictable somebody's going to lose. You know, the hometown gal is going to lose here.
And I'm gonna mention this before we move on to the next match. This is where I feel like a mid-card title would fit in with somebody with like a Piper Niven, because of how well she performed with that promo. You can instantly put her in a mid-card title feud to get her back to the world title while you still have Bailey and Nia Jax potentially happening at SummerSlam. I think this is where the disconnect is with the women. Is like after they have the women's title match, there's nothing else for them except if they're in a tag team. This is where a mid-card title fits perfectly.
And they're testing that out on NXT White and Gold. Unlike NXT Black and Gold, that never did that.
You already lost. We can move on.
Right, well, mistrial. You can have that L. It's a soup ladle for us. So no soup for you. I like this stuff from Mac. The real question is, do we see anyone from TNA showing up at Clash?
Did you see today?
He appears.
Did you see today he was on an airplane and people were like, he's going to Scotland. They're like, no, he's going to Chicago. Like,
right. He even took a picture of the Chicago flag.
Yeah, so he did follow it up. But a lot of people like, could he happen? I don't know. I think we might be more likely to get like Tonga.
He's not shorter, he's taller.
Tonga, which is fucking horrible.
Well, and so this is where we get into the mispronunciations and everything like that of I'm a terrible Caucasian and can't pronounce peoples of complexions names and everything at times. But to where his middle name is, I feel, a bit like around the word Tala that they've kind of trademarked and everything. So that's why they're kind of going with that. But it feels like we're going to have Tala, shorter, and in the middle Tongas out here.
All the Samoans. And we don't know.
They're Tongan. They're not even Samoan.
Yeah, that's true too. It says it right in his name. You think I would have got that? But yeah, no, it's very interesting. And we're assuming like that could be Lance and Hawaii's fucking name.
No, you can't call some guy Tala and not be like the 6 foot, 7 foot.
They can't bring in an even Tala. No, okay.
No, I'm just like, what would they fucking call him outside of that? Like, why you got to make him a Tonga? Like, why can't he just be like Hikaleo? Is that not translate? Everybody else is kind of just crossed over with the same name.
Well, and I still would argue if you're going to change Hikuleo to Tala Tonga, why would you not change Tonga Loa to like Loa Tonga, Lil Tonga?
That's then you get in a situation to where there was what was it? It was Private Stash from WCW and everything that was upset because he didn't have a high enough military ranking and just lost the fucking pun. That's where you get into those of like you work yourself into a shoot, brother.
Right. Where is y'all's against all odd prediction? We're going to do them immediately after this. Yes, folks, we're doing all the things tonight.
Right.
Shall we move on?
Shall we dance? So we all in agreement that it's going to be Bailey picking this up here.
Yeah.
So Cody Rhodes versus AJ Cuthbert Styles in an I Quit match for the undisputed WWE Championship, and Mama Rhodes was flown out specifically. Mama Rhodes will be in attendance.
They're beating my boy.
Pause. I do like that we have a stipulation with this match, it being an I Quit match. I was about to say I feel like this match could go both ways, really. Truthfully. But I don't see them kind of dropping the title on and putting it on AJ. So I guess I'm gonna go Cody Rhodes, but I really want AJ to win. But also, if he quits, does the door open for him to be hired at Slammiversary?
Could be. KJ.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think the story played out very well of, you should have done, I'm going to make you do what you should have done last week, and that's I Quit. I mean, I like it. I mean, does Cody Rhodes lose? No, I don't think anybody thinks Cody's going to lose until at least he scraps with some bloodline peeps, and I think he's going to hold on to that belt for a hot minute. We're not going to get a 3-year run, but we're going to get a substantial run from Cody.
Absolutely.
Could Mama Rhodes, being such a focal point of, she got flown out and she's got to watch her baby boy and everything, be the causation as to why Cody has to say I quit? If they're going to F up Mama Rhodes and everything.
No.
That's the only way you can get to that. That's the only way you get to where this man says I quit. Because I've been out there saying of AJ Styles, he says I quit. He quits SmackDown. He quits WWE. What have you? He either shows up on Monday Night Raw. He shows up on TNA. He has a run and everything. The Mama Rhodes thing here is halfway starting to throw me for a loop a little bit.
Okay. What did the Good Brothers get Mama Rhodes up for a magic killer? Like, we'll do it.
I was gonna say I'll break her fucking neck.
She's not.
How else do you get Cody Rhodes to say I quit? This man's Captain America. If he says I quit any other way, he's doing the job at a terrible degree. So yeah, I think that might be the only way you can make this compelling. But at the end of the day, I'm still taking Cody Rhodes to win this match.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, again, would it be an interesting story? And could it be something like AJ wins and then Cody gets it back at Money in the Bank? Or
you could do a trio. You could do a trilogy here. You could do it.
Yeah, you could. It would be really cool if they did. I don't think they're going to.
Well, and especially like I said, I'm really a firm believer of we get the idea of AJ says I quit, and we don't know to what degree that is, what have you. It's still interesting with even Mia Yim and the Good Brothers if they're still halfway one toe in SmackDown, one toe in NXT. So you get AJ says I quit. You don't know if he's quitting just SmackDown and he shows up on Monday Night Raw, what have you. You don't know if he says I quit. And that's, the make good of that's the little trade-off of he shows up and has a little mini run in TNA for a bit, which I think would be fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about someone else that could potentially be showing up, but I think Anthony's talked about it a lot, the idea of like an AJ kind of anniversary tour.
Yeah, that would be nice to have a face-off with AJ Styles and I just forgot his name, Josh Alexander in TNA, like the two focal points of TNA. I would love to see it.
The literal passing of the torch there.
Right.
two Georgia boys fighting for the championship. Near and dear to Anthony's heart there.
Georgia being represented again.
Georgia.
Love it. Cody wins. Let's check the poll. 85%, 86% going Cody. 87% before it could hit off. So it's growing by the minute.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Right. And so the main event of the evening, and what I feel might be a main event discussion here coming up, of Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre. And by the way, the Judgment Day is barred from ringside because Drew won on Monday Night Raw.
Which I think is perfect. Anthony, would you like to give your?
I'm going to start because I'm going to just
let before the collision.
After so Damian Priest defending against Drew McIntyre. I do believe Damian Priest retains. I do believe that CM Punk bought a plane ticket to fly halfway across the world to screw Drew McIntyre out of another World Heavyweight Championship. And I rest my case. I'm gonna leave it to these two to argue it out.
Anthony said everything I wanted to say. Like it's you know what I love about it is even on Monday when so if Drew loses, or sorry, if Drew wins, Judgment Day's banned from ringside, and I was like, oh, I see the writing. So to me, everything's been amping up. We haven't seen Punk in 3 weeks. I happen to agree, and I mean, if anyone's okay with the amount of heat he's about to get, 100%. Again, it all lines up. I know, Nick, that you're waiting for a trade to happen, but the trade's not coming.
The trade is not the key on this whole thing. 100% to me, I think that this is absolutely a make good. This is not a make good in the sense of this is a thank you letter to Drew McIntyre. This is 100% of you won your championship in front of. Absolutely. God damn it. 100% you won your championship in front of no people and everything like that. And then you sat there and had the whole, lost that Money in the Bank and you did the business and everything. You sat here and still been here while Roman's been out, Seth's been out, etc., to where the injuries of top guys is piled up here. I think 100% that this is a thank you for your service. 100% you have earned this moment. Drew McIntyre, almost 10 years. I think it's just going to be just past 10 years to the day to when he was released from WWE.
True.
Is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship in Scotland. Like, I understand 100% you want CM Punk there and everything. But I think I understand it's going to be one of those of where they're at, and it's still going to just kind of hit right because Drew's kind of been the babyface in the situation a wee bit, at least when it comes to him versus Damian.
Not really. I mean, he's still the same Drew. And
I understand that, but he's the heel that you cheer for.
Okay.
He's entering that territory.
So here's your dilemma.
100%.
Drew McIntyre wins at Clash. Then what?
He keeps winning.
What? But again, so what does CM Punk do?
Find a way towards the title.
Okay, so Drew McIntyre would be scheduled to fight Gunther. Gunther's got a guaranteed title match coming up. So if Drew McIntyre wins, would it be a triple threat? CM Punk, Drew, Gunther? Does CM Punk fight Drew and lose?
Could you see CM Punk win the Money in the Bank in Toronto?
He could. And then Drew versus Gunther, CM Punk's lurking with the Money in the Bank, possibly. But not even you picked CM Punk to win Money in the Bank. You picked LA Knight.
That's fine. We can discuss later predictions here. We're talking about here and now. Cool. That's great. If you want to talk about down the road, we can talk about down the road. We're talking about here right now, my guy.
Right. Now, I think for the here and now, I think it's going to very much look like Drew's about to win. I think CM Punk's going to pop up, and he's going to cost Drew again. I mean, this rivalry, I think WWE, kind of like what I just said about with Piper or anyone else, is WWE's not looking at, oh, we're in Scotland. They're looking at the bigger picture. We got a whole year, a whole calendar of stuff we got to do. We got plans. To me, what makes most sense is that Drew will fight Punk at SummerSlam, and Gunther will fight Damian. And there's a good chance Gunther's the one that beats Damian. To me, that's the way it sets up. That's what it feels like's coming. I feel like Drew and CM Punk have just been at each other's throats for months now. What do you do with it? If I mean, again, you know, CM Punk go all the way to Scotland to not fuck him over, just wave, give him a high five.
Or just doesn't show up. How about that? Maybe
No
we
Punk.
just actually have, you know, Drew just gets a fucking solid win as a world champion. Oh my God, this guy who's been so great and so fucking helpful to the company that just re-signed and everything and has gotten so many eyes and been so great and so entertaining and everything, and sat there and won his one big championship in front of 0 people and everything. So this is 100%. If you're going to have the big, and then when he was going to win it back in front of people, he wins it back and then loses it for story. So why don't we win it back in front of the hometown crowd? Biggest reaction. You sat there, and the last time he was at the Clash of the Castle, he was out there doing the job for Tyson Fury and everything, sitting there playing karaoke.
Now, yeah, again, the dilemma becomes, what do you do with everybody? And I think that Drew winning kind of stalls everything. And I do not believe that Drew and CM Punk need a title to continue their feud. And Drew will get his moment. It's just not at Clash.
Everybody at this point, I'd almost be like, well, he's going to get his moment here, and then it doesn't happen. Or he gets it, and then it's, well, doesn't work for me, brother, all of this. But yeah, so you have Scotland going over at home.
Yeah.
You having them going, you know, just getting a clean sweep at home. Yeah. And people are going to make it out alive.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Someone's getting a pint glass smashed in their fucking face.
Maybe. I think it's going to be a whole shit ton of heat. I'm looking forward to the fans going bananas because it's going to be so reversed. Could Drew win? Yeah. Is he going to? No.
If there's a Scottish competitor on this card that's going to win, it's Drew McIntyre.
Maybe. I think it's the tag teams are more likely to win than Drew. Alba and Isla are more likely to win. At least they got a triple threat and they have a story to tell. There is no story to, like, again, I think you're fucking up the booking that you've had. What do you do? Where do you go with this? Like, okay, so now Drew's the champion, and now who's he feuding with? Well, he's going to feud with Punk. Well, then what do you do with Priest? Well, he's going to.
He could have the rematch with fucking Priest, even.
Okay, why would you have a rematch if he won super clean and then we just move on? What does Punk do in the meantime?
Oh, well, even then, so I'll entertain if you have Punk shows up. What if Punk shows up and tries to fuck over Drew McIntyre? Mess up Drew McIntyre, and then fails at it. Like, what if you get your moment and at the end of the day, Drew McIntyre still wins?
I think that would be real interesting. I think it'd be really cool. But I don't see him flying all the way over to Scotland and then failing to achieve it.
He doesn't want to go sightseeing or anything like that. You only show up in Scotland if you're just gonna fuck somebody over and leave.
Absolutely. If you're gonna go all the way there, you might as well get the job done. I think if Punk showed up and was like, I got you, but Drew still wins, it's kind of, you kind of make Punk look like an idiot. And right now, 80% of the chat saying Priest is gonna retain. So I mean,
keep that same energy on Saturday.
We are. This has been the ongoing one. I'm looking forward to it. I just feel like the way everything's been built from WrestleMania till now, from Rumble till now, that, Drew fucked Punk out of his WrestleMania moment. So Punk is going to return the favor and screw him out of his Scottish moment.
I'm damn near tempted to show up here on Saturday with the fucking Braveheart makeup and everything. I'm
not like, fuck.
I'll show up here in a goddamn kilt, and you'll never know. They may take our title.
Yeah.
I think that what really scares me, Nick, about your idea is if that happens, where do we fit in a short period of time from Money in the Bank to SummerSlam? Where do we fit in a good storyline for Drew McIntyre versus Gunther? Because the Money in the Bank and SummerSlam turnaround is like 4 weeks, right? So I feel like if they start now because if they have Drew win, hypothetically, then there's going to be something with Drew and CM Punk Not saying a match, but the focus is going to be more on Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, and we're going to forget about Gunther. And Gunther's just going to be there at SummerSlam to have his match, potentially win. But knowing Triple H, I feel like he would want a pretty solid storyline, 2-month storyline with Damian Priest and Gunther. If you kind of get what I'm saying.
Yep.
Oh no, I get. This is, I guess, where I've been backed into a corner at this point with my, trades, and Gunther basically just ends up on SmackDown by hook or by crook. He ends up. We get Captain America versus that rascally Austrian and everything.
Yeah. So AJ Styles goes to TNA. Gunther goes to SmackDown. I know you wanted a trade to kind of pull this.
We got
off.
dominoes. We got dominoes.
I will admit, for the first, tonight when you mentioned the Money in the Bank, and then if Punk won the Money in the Bank, then could you have Drew versus Gunther, and then Punk fuck all of them over at Money in the Bank? I just don't know if they're going to put the belt on Punk yet. So that's my only hesitation. So if Punk won Money in the Bank, would he fail to cash it in? Would he be successful?
Right,
Then
but
what?
it depends on when do you think he cashes it in. Like, there's nothing saying that he couldn't even cash it in at, say, SummerSlam. Or if you do get a Drew versus
That's a really short Drew run.
But again, I mean, it's not his shortest, to be honest.
Yeah, fact.
And even then,
it's at least 10 times longer than the last one, motherfucker.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, then you can set back up and set up the chase and everything. Like, again, Gunther's the fucking oddball in this situation to an extent of really where does he fit in, because he kind of needs to be in the main event scene, but I don't know if he's in the main event scene here. Like, that's why I just trying to get him over to SmackDown of like the lane of opportunity. You got much more room to be challenging, Cody Rhodes instead of we get, the 4th, 5th, 6th AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes match.
Yeah, I mean, Cody's got a lot on the hopper on that side. And Anthony, I don't know if you want to chime in, because I know we've been debating this for weeks. But
I just feel like if there was like a trade and we have potentially Gunther versus Cody at SummerSlam, Cody's not losing the title, and then that just puts Gunther back on the back burner. Because Cody,
well, what do we think about Bash? What do we think about Bash in the Berlin? Like, what's Gunther doing there?
Gunther's defending his title that he wins off of Damian Priest at SummerSlam.
I'm trying to think of where. So Bash is after SummerSlam on the schedule.
Yes, it's like 4 weeks later, I think.
Yeah. So that's my take on it. That, and again, I could be completely wrong. I'm just guessing like you are. So, but I mean, I think that Gunther will win that title this summer, and he's going to win it from Damian. I think we haven't quite got to the point where Judgment Day is completely ready to disintegrate. So I think that will play into the Gunther angle, but I think Gunther will beat Damian. Damian gets a 4 or 5 month run, whatever it's been since Mania, and then Gunther's the guy that takes the belt, not Drew.
I won't doubt what you've said outside of the title being involved, because it's going to be around the waist of one beautiful Scottish bastard, if I can try and even remember what Pat McAfee said, introducing him on Monday Night Raw. But Drew McIntyre will be your world heavyweight champion. You can still do all your Damian Priest, Gunther stuff. You can do all of that shit. Just the title won't be there. No, the title won't be there. You can still have the feud. The title won't be there.
You can't, like, Gunther is destined to fight whoever has the belt. That's the catch. That's what you're missing.
Well, the fucking SummerSlam thing. God damn. But I was saying, fuck you.
Ilya versus Gunther in Berlin for the belt. Let's go.
Oh, my heartbeat still.
All right. So that is pretty much the predictions on that. I know you and I. So you're going Drew. Anthony, you're going Damian. I'm also going Damian. 80% of the chat went Damian. And a side question that was asked to the chat: do you think there's a Howdy sighting in Scotland? 54% saying no, but pretty split. I mean, let's be real.
How do you guys feel? QR code.
Just another QR code, nothing.
You'll get a tease. You won't get a reveal, a sighting, what have you. You'll get a tease, and that'll be about it. Now, Monday Night Raw, don't miss it because that's the fucking countdown and everything.
Right.
Yeah, that countdown clock solidifies things. I think we might get something substantial. I'm hoping. But
have to. If you don't,
not Raw, Clash. I think Clash will be like something like the QR code will be a big one, or
I thought you were saying at Raw.
Yeah,
Raw. You have to deliver at Raw. If you don't, that's bad news, Bears.
I will agree with you on that. If they do not come to that conclusion, if the countdown ends and it's just like another fucking QR code, people are gonna lose their fucking mind. Like even the most avid fans, I'm kind of with you on that.
Absolutely.
But that is all for class. Oh, one last thing I'm going to put out WWE related, and then we'll move on to TNA. So it gets reported by WWE that Ricochet has suffered substantial injuries and will be out for some time. Does that strengthen the argument that maybe he's not going anywhere? We've talked about this where Samantha's involvement, but if WWE is reporting he's injured and out, would they not just forget about him at this point if they were writing him off?
Anthony, do you want to go first, or
I would go first. I think that's a valid point. I was actually a little taken aback when they tweeted that, because if he was truly gone and that was the way to write him out, I don't think he would have been mentioned on social media. I really believe their WWE could be playing the game of throwing that out there about Ricochet actually leaving when he's not, and playing with the fans. I can see that happening.
This reeks of just work.
Right.
To me, I've seen reports saying that his contract isn't up until sometime in July, and so that they could bring him back if he still wanted to, or if they wanted to, what have you. That's why his send-off was on Monday, because they didn't have a book for anything. But now we've got Samantha involved. Now we're talking about how he's going to be out for some time and everything. Well, I mean, if you're out for like 2 years, I think you kind of died and you're Jesus and you come back and you've been resurrected and everything. But that's the thing, is a lot of this, it feels like they're planting a lot of seeds of shit that they can't follow up on if he's leaving. So I think this is a lot of, again, of just Tai Chi, let me work these dirt sheets and everything, to where, somebody reports this. Well, we did have that. That was probably an actual statement from Ricochet at one point he said, I'm going to move on. And then they talked about it and they had a discussion and they've reached a different agreement, because I respect Mike Johnson versus Meltzer. So I'll take his opinion that was actually at one point a thing. But to me, it seems like the writing's getting clearer and clearer, if you can read the tea leaves, that he's there for a good bit. He's back.
Right. And I think this would be my last thing about it. I think the wording where it says undisclosed amount of time, you can't put that in there and then Ricochet be gone from he show up on AEW or TNA television. Okay, I can say TNA television because of a partnership, but he show up on AEW television. Like that's just weird. Like undisclosed, and then
he won't. Prince Puma will, or Rick O'Shea, the third member of the O'Shea brothers.
Right. All right. Anything else you guys think, expect, wonder about Clash?
I can say confidently that I don't think we'll see any type of TNA talent there. So I don't think that's happening.
No, that'll be on Tuesday on NXT with the Battle Royal.
Yeah. Battle Royal, absolutely.
I think Ricochet being scrubbed of his Vince character and going to come back more his own version. He used to be on the indies with a bit less of a spot fest character. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Well, we talked about this on the NXT stream and everything, about how after everything that we saw on Monday, that if now Braun Breaker comes out and he kind of just messes with Samantha a little bit and everything, and you still play it off of he's just tearing through everybody, but he kind of keeps fucking with Samantha and everything like that. Then you get Ricochet that comes back, and you've instantly now got the emotional connection to him. You've got an upper mid card at most, feud and everything right out of the gate there. And it does nothing but help bring up that emotional connection with Ricochet. And again, Samantha's connection to Ricochet has only been involved one other time, and that was with Logan Paul facing Ricochet, and it's getting the heel over, giving him something to work with. So I think this is giving Braun Breaker something to work with.
Right.
There you go. Denisha saying that TK said messed up stuff on Ricochet on an interview. Interesting. I thought the only thing I've seen was that he was like, I can't answer right now. But if there was more, I had not seen it yet.
Yeah, no.
All right, gentlemen, should we jump on some TNA Against All Odds, which we will be live for, folks? Remember, we watch more live wrestling than anybody else out there. Anthony's got the TNA review coming your way. Tomorrow, we will be here for the kickoff at 11 a.m. We will be back at 8 p.m. for Against All Odds and SmackDown from Scotland, plus Rampage, apparently. I'm not sure, but I think so. And then Saturday morning, we are back for Clash at the Castle. Busy times here at the channel. All the coverage we can shove into 1 week. Actually, there's probably more, but we're doing our best. Against All Odds tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. So, pre-show, and I'm surprised this is a pre-show match. Maybe Anthony can provide clarity here, but Sami Callihan versus Jonathan Gresham and a singles match is the pre-show match. It's the only one.
I can definitely clarify that. The original pre-show match was Eric Young and Josh Alexander versus ABC, which I think it was inappropriate to be not inappropriate. I think it was appropriate to be a pre-show match because we haven't actually seen Josh Alexander in a couple of months. He actually pulled himself from TNA events because of an injury. So I think it was perfect to have this as the pre-show, but the fans got upset and they switched it and put Sami Callihan versus Josh Alexander on the pre-show, which they've actually been building the story for the past like 3 weeks. So yeah, you're definitely right. It shouldn't be a pre-show match.
Interesting. Yeah, being like, especially with Sammy being such a TNA guy, I'm shocked that he's on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Outrage.
Gresham's gonna win though. They're really pushing the dark Jonathan.
Right. They are pushing the dark Jonathan. And I actually, surprisingly, for some reason, have Sami Callihan winning only because Jonathan Gresham won the first match. So I was thinking they would have Sami Callihan win the second one only because of last week in his like promo package. He basically said, I know you have this sickness or disease that you can infect people, but I'm a sicko too in the head. So I kind of had this theory that Sami Callihan would take the victory.
I'm kind of split because to me on paper even this should not be a pre-show match at all, because this is literally a fucking coin flip here of you really take the lunatic that or fucking Mini Venom out there with Gresham.
Right. It's a good match. Spoiled fans.
What?
We are spoiled fans.
Right.
Well, yeah, and under the pretense of some terrible booking at times, but that's neither here nor there. But I'll take Gresham, just spooky Kraken, I guess. Of
spooky.
It's a coin flip though with this. Like that's the thing, is this should be like contendership, like a title eliminator and everything, a number one contenders match towards the world title and everything like that, instead of a fucking pre-show match.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. If you wanted to put some type of stipulation on it, maybe like a contendership match for the title. But yeah, this definitely shouldn't be a pre-show match. I wasn't a fan of them switching it, but I'm not the booker. I can't change it back to the original plan because I feel like Josh Alexander, Eric Young, and ABC is a great way to get the fans hyped for the main card. And I think this was just done poorly, to be honest.
Well, here we'll start the campaign so Anthony can be the booker. Ali Anthony 2024. Let's go.
Right.
That's the campaign, folks.
Spooky Kraken. I like it. Cracking that ass. Watch out, Sammy. 4.91K. Those are rookie numbers. Let's go. Rookie numbers. Killing me, Smalls. Let's go. Quick time. We're almost at 5K. What do you got?
So next match would be the EY and Josh Alexander versus ABC match.
Oh yeah.
ABC as easy as 1, 2, 3.
I guess this one is kind of a toss-up because there's no feud or anything going on with them right now. That is why this should be the pre-show match, because it's fair game for any of these two. Because Josh Alexander is returning, I'm gonna give it to EY and Josh Alexander.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that, Anthony. Again, this does feel more pre-showy of like, kind of scrambled. ABC's had a long run. Maybe they're near the end of their time. Like, where do they go from here? Does Ace
and there's tension?
Yeah, there's tension, and two guys that could be great single stars. Ace Austin or Chris Bay could kind of break out on their own. Highly possible. Yeah, I'll go with you. I can't bet against two Canadians.
I'll stay taking ABC.
There you go. Let's see. The chat is saying 54%. Yeah, they're split as well.
Well, as you pull up a comment of, I just want those Canadians to lose.
Enough out of you. But they're heart and soul guys of the company. I want EY back in the dub, to be honest.
But that's the thing, is they're kind of just seems mess and all. I guess that's the word of the night. Mess and all around this whole feud and everything. Of again, we can make a bigger back and forth argument, I feel, with Sammy versus Gresham than we could with this. Like, we've talked about this enough a bit, but this should have been the opener match.
Yeah.
And then you've got Sammy and Gresham. This was just a bad booking decision.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Could Khan potentially cost EY? Trey asked. I'm asking for a friend.
I mean, yeah, that potentially could happen. I think last week on TNA, I'm closing one of my eyes because I'm trying to remember, but I think last week on TNA, EY did attack Khan. He did. He attacked Khan, and so that could play a factor here. But I just still, if that happens, it needed to be on the pre-show. So
the chat is 50-50 right now, guys. So they're like us. We're not sure what to do with this one.
Right.
Fair enough. So next match of Steve Macklin and Mike Santana, played by Carlos Santana, versus the Rascals of Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. I feel like they missed their NXT call.
This could almost be a pre-show match too.
No, this is an NXT, weekly Tuesday match.
If Steve Macklin and Mike Santana don't win, I'm gonna have a problem, because I've really been cheering for them to become like a one-time tag team. That happened last week when they were attacked by the Rascals, or 2 weeks ago. So I need both of them to win. And then they can go back to feuding with each other. I don't know how they'll do that, but I need them to win this match. This is the match I'm most excited for tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate to be agreeable, but yeah, Santana. I want Santana and Macklin to beat each other up. So maybe there's an outside chance that they beat each other featuring Rob Thomas.
All right.
Smooth, but yeah, maybe they lose because they can't get along. But I also think it's going to be one of those things where they might dust the Rascals pretty convincingly and then go back to hating each other.
Right.
Yeah, but they won't, because the Rascals are going to end up getting involved in NXT. Much to Anthony's opinion and statements previously, and especially because we already had it established this current week to where, New Catch Republic and all of that ain't the friends we need. So we
Right.
need some new friends. We need some more friends. So Rassos get the win, and then they just cross the prohibited portal into NXT.
That could be the case. Now I'm looking at Trey's comment down here saying that he doesn't trust Macklin. Please don't spoil the rest of TNA for me. You haven't spoiled it, but I've only watched about 15 to 20 minutes. But Macklin did come out and save Mike Santana from Trey Miguel attack. That happened before we jumped back on the stream that I saw. So I have a little trust for Macklin. I do. I know they had a stare down after the match, but I have a little trust in Macklin to pull his weight tomorrow.
Okay. 67% of the chat agree with Anthony. Macklin Santana for the dub.
I like to know the percentages of how many people are wrong.
Not 67. I think that works out to 33.
Well, no. I was saying of how 67 are going to be wrong because what I predicted was the opposite, my guy. But
well, that would be your answer then. My bad. You confused me. What's next?
Mustafa Ali, who I think can we all just kind of predict he's going to show up in NXT at some point?
Maybe.
Shawn Michaels has been a big fan of him on record.
True.
But he's defending the X Division Championship versus Trent Seven. Trent Seven is not a name that to me screams X Division, but I understand the X Division is kind of ambiguous.
Right. I think this match is going to turn out to be the match of the night. They had a tag team match, I believe, last week. It was Trent Seven and Mike Bailey versus Mustafa Ali and Champagne Singh. And they showed hints of what tomorrow's match is going to be like. I think tomorrow this match is going to be match of the night. After seeing this sit down interview though with Mustafa Ali from tonight, I'm a little wavering on my decision because his politician was politician tonight. It wasn't, he was deflecting from a lot of the stuff Tom was throwing at him, saying that he's running away from Speedball, saying that he's technically not undefeated after last week losing to Trent Seven and Mike Bailey. He was doing a lot of deflecting. So is it some type of dissension right there a little bit? Is he about to lose the X Division Championship? I don't know. I'm still unsure, but I'm going to go with Mustafa Ali retaining. He drops that title at Slammiversary.
Oh.
Ali wins all the time. If Ali was on the ballot legitimately in 2024, I would probably vote Mustafa Ali.
He's the best candidate.
Yeah, facts. Keep it a bug. But yeah, 100% to me, Ali wins. This has the potential to be match tonight. I think that's more because Ali's in it. Be honest, but yeah, Ali retains here. It'll be a good match. I don't think that it's really going to be much of a contention of Trent Seven getting the win here.
No, I'm going Ali. Chicago's own. Yeah, I'm going with you. Ali winning. This will be his crowning a moment. Trey going with Trent Seven. Speedball versus Ali would be fire. And I think that's your Slammiversary is the next one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's your Slammiversary match. Speedball Ali. That's your payoff.
Right.
64% going Ali in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Ali isn't losing at home.
Agreed.
The system of Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards with Alicia Edwards taking on the Nemeth brothers. They need a better name than the fucking Nemeth brothers. I understand it's their last name, but it's a punchable name for some punchable faces with Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth, aka Zigglypuff and not Zigglypuff.
They could be the Ziggler brothers.
Yeah,
brothers.
I'm here to show the world. Come
on. So this one is a toss-up for me because I do think Nick Nemeth is going to challenge Moose for the world title. But there is some big big type of dissension in the system right now. They've been losing for the past couple of weeks. But I'm gonna stick with the system. Here. I think they retain and somewhat drop those titles at Slammiversary. I just don't know to who, because there's nobody after the tag team titles other than Nick and Ryan, unless Nick comes out a double champ, after Slammiversary.
Yeah, Nick.
Oh, I was going to let you go with your thoughts.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with the Nemeth brothers just because of the dissension. Things seem then again, this one's tough. I'm going to go Nemeth brothers, but there's some big rumors that could fuck up my whole theory. So, the system's been strong, but they seem to be having issues. The Hardy effect seems to be having a problem with these guys. Yeah, I'll go. If Dolph fights him at Slammiversary, it's going to change everything.
Right.
I'm changing my mind. I'm going the system.
Okay.
Fair enough. I'm going the system because I think we're all kind of hinting, teasing, alleging around, dancing around certain topics and angles with all of this here. But I think that we put on a good front here of, the system gets the win and everything, and it's still, been kind of the dominant tag team, and what happens later on in the show might, set up where a lot of other things are going forward here.
I agree.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I think we got 2 matches left, so I'll wait until the end of that those 2 matches to say what I really think of who is going to lose the title in the system tomorrow.
That's the thing. We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
So yeah, but I do want to point out this comment that I do believe Jeff Hardy is coming back to TNA.
Yes.
That's kind of been hinted and rumored, so I didn't think about Jeff Hardy. I do believe he is, if he's not at Against All Odds tomorrow, he will be at the tapings. So Matt and Jeff could go after the tag team titles at Slammiversary. Didn't think about that. So yes, good point out.
That was my hesitation.
Is that because WWE just said thanks but no thanks? Because I feel like they both kind of were probably knocking hard and heavy on that WWE door, and you can have that.
It's possible.
It's possible. And then I did say, I think on the TNA review, that I believe that at this stage of their careers, especially Matt Hardy, I think the broken gimmick for the both of them needs to be their ending. They're kind of set sail. The hardcore stuff is, I don't want to say it's old, but it's old for them. And I think going out with the broken gimmick one last time, I think that's a perfect sunset. And they potentially can do that in WWE if they continue with this TNA crossover.
Well, I sorry, KJ, but I completely agree with you. I hadn't even thought about that, Anthony. Yep. That works pretty perfectly. I think that's been the biggest thing, and why I even mentioned about like WWE clearly saying no to Matt or Jeff. That's I think why even they left to begin with. They still are going to want to try and do all of these jump off the ladder spots from fucking 30 feet up and everything. Yep. And the body can't do that anymore. Them doing this broken, Hardy compound gimmick and everything works well, and they can have the final deletion and, we will transcend my brother to the other plane and all of that. And that's their fucking send off, and then just disappear. Like,
right.
And it's one of those of respectfully, it's goofy enough that it works with TNA, but it won't work in WWE.
I thought that was beautiful, and I hadn't even thought of it in that context of like, yeah, but then you could put it to bed and it say goodbye, because I don't know that the WWE outright has said no to the Hardys, especially with Jeff just becoming available. Yeah. But I do think if the WWE was going to do anything with the Hardys, it'd be very much like the Dudleys or a bunch of the other ones, sign them to like a Legends deal. Maybe they come in, have a few matches, but as the Hardys. Not as Brother Nero, not as Broken Matt.
You could still get like one match and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but they don't want them flying off the furniture. They want them to have a match.
But that's the thing is, I think Matt, especially compared to Jeff, wants to still be out there like weekly or like every other weekly and everything. And that's respectfully, I was up there with everybody of a certain generation of you're an instant Hardy fan because everybody tried to do a Swanton bomb, all of that, does the little fucking rave dance, all that. But you're not having Matt or Jeff on any sort of weekly television right now. Keep it a buck, like honestly. Not even at NXT, TNA, GCW would you have them on there every fucking week.
Yeah, I mean, if they weren't going to keep Edge regularly in the mix, they're not going to keep the Hardys regularly in the mix. Let's be real.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's quite interesting. And the Jeff Hardy thing, just all of a sudden, like, oh, by the way, he's free on the 14th tomorrow.
Right. I think they timed that perfectly, to be honest. I think they did.
Maybe a little bit. What's next on the talking, Mr. Nick? Wait, 88% of the people are taking Nemeth Brothers, by the way.
Well, what was it? Somebody was saying that the Nemeth Brothers sound like a knockoff Mario game there.
Right. It's like the shitty version.
Right.
Remember you get the multi. You get those bootleg like 500 games in one and it was
literally,
all
and like 90% of them were just like Frogger and shit like that. Like it's a lot of Atari type shit.
Absolutely. Ooh, that's funny.
Yeah, anyone 25 and plus can't pretend they didn't hurt a wrist or fingers trying to beat Jeff Hardy. Oh, I had a trampoline growing up. I was Sean O'Hare out there, just a big son of a bitch hitting swantons that I had no business doing.
Everyone has that visual of big ass Nick just flying through the air.
Yeah, exactly. Just imagine how much that's gonna suck when I fucking land on
it. I'm in too deep and I'm trying to keep. But yeah, all right. What is the next? Zigzag Bros.
Zigzag Bros. I like that. The Super Ziggler brothers, yeah. But so, co-main event of the evening, and this is open to interpretation unless Anthony has his Nostradamus moment again. But we've got Jordan Grace versus TBA TBD for the Knockouts World Championship. Anthony, the floor is yours.
I don't. If it's a WWE superstar, I'll be extremely happy. If it's a TNA superstar, I'm gonna be extremely happy as well. I know a lot of people hated Ash by Elegance showing up at NXT.
I was about to say, what if it was a former WWE superstar who's currently
now a TNA? But what I don't think people understand, and I don't want to call any fans out, but if you're strictly watching if you're strictly watching WWE, you haven't really been seeing what they've been doing with Ash by Elegance getting to this point. She has sat ringside at almost every TNA Knockouts World Championship match, including the one where she, made her TNA debut at Hard to Kill. She has sat ringside. If she wasn't there, it was George Iceman with a mannequin, right? So
she's a great ring girl. She's a great viewer of wrestling, not a great executor of wrestling.
Right. He also does that for the HOV lane. I don't know if you guys have those, but like the fast lane on the highway, but you have to have two passengers. Yeah, that's he puts the dummy in the passenger seat.
She has a whole service and everything like that. She's out there. Just call Dana Brooke and she'll just come and sit you right beside you as you can get past in the carpool lane. Sorry, Anthony.
No, you're fine. So I think it was perfect timing for Ash by Elegance to show up at NXT Battleground and do what she did. That set up a specific TNA storyline, and it also potentially set up this match tomorrow, which could be taken by Tatum Paxley, right? Yeah. So I personally feel like, being a fan of both companies, TNA did it right with having Ash by Elegance being there. And on top of that, they did do it right because she was trending not only once, but twice on Monday under Dana Brooke and under Ash by Elegance. So
that's because no one remembered her either fucking name.
Well, it's funny because I mean, here in Canada, we get like a weekly show called This Week in WWE. I don't know if y'all get it anywhere, but
no, I don't.
And it just kind of recaps the ongoing stuff of the week. So this is what's happened, and they actually refer like Dana Brooke came back. They didn't call her Dana Brooke. They said Ash by Elegance showed up, who used to be here under a different name. Like they didn't shy away.
Joseph of Dana Ash by Elegance.
Yeah. So they're not shying away from it. I agree with Anthony. I thought they did it well. It tied into the storyline, and people didn't understand like why are they doing this. Well, because TNA still needs to benefit from the experience.
It's still a thing. It's still a thing.
Yeah. Could it be Tatum and Ash?
Yeah, that's the question of is it so singular exclusive here? Is it just Ash by Elegance, or do we get a Tatum Paxley, which is interesting because I think we all kind of at one point or another thought it was going to be Natalya, who was still kind of halfway discussing her contract. We even thought it could have been Roxanne Perez, obviously with we always challenge for mine, so I'm going to challenge for yours. So I think that's probably the best thing about this is even as much as it's, it's respectfully, it's a TNA show and all of that, but one of those of it's everything's up for gambles here. Like there's 10 options that they could go and they all sound solid.
Right.
Absolutely.
Natty versus Dana at Slammiversary. or Jordan.
And what a flotation off.
We made the boat, the dynamic boats.
Tag team, the boats that float.
Yeah, the only reason I thought maybe Ash shows up and is like, I accept the challenge, but then Tatum pops out of the crowd and is like, so do I, and they're like, fuck it, we'll fight them both.
I think that's the most likely outcome as a triple threat, honestly, between Ash, Tatum, and Jordan. I think that's the most likely outcome.
Are you reviewing the Hardy Compound episode?
Oh yeah, it'll be on the TNA review. Yeah, it won't be on this one because I haven't watched it yet. So
notice how we all kind of went like
but Jordan's probably gonna win this. It's hard to predict.
Absolutely. It's Jordan all the way.
Now side question, especially I guess geared towards Anthony. How long do you think the clock's ticking until Jordynne Grace is in WWE?
It depends on how long she signed her TNA contract. I don't think a lot of people said it was a year. I don't know if WWE would do. I would rather them just have Jordynne Grace show up on WWE television till her contract expires with TNA. I think that's the best thing. And I know there was one thing a lot of people are missing with Jordynne Grace. She has said that she wants to win every title in TNA, and she hasn't won the world title. I think she's going to do that and then depart from TNA.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think WWE wants to start the poaching game. I mean, they've been accused of that under a different regime. Their competitor, quote unquote, has been accused of doing that with people they were in bed with. So maybe they want to play nice as possible.
Oh, well, we won't poach. We just own.
We'll just take it over.
We just kick our fucking feet up on the desk here. But yeah, I think ultimately what I think is going to happen is going to be Jordynne Grace versus Tatum Paxley versus Ash by Elegance in a triple threat.
I'm down with that.
I'm with you. And so, main event of the evening of
event of the main.
Right. Well, this sounds like some shit that would take place in Maine, especially with Moose as the champion. Versus Broken Matt Hardy for the TNA World Championship.
I don't think there's any question that Moose is winning. Moose is winning tomorrow, plain and simple. I feel like everybody's time is coming with the system at Slammiversary. So Moose is holding on to that title for a couple of more weeks. So Moose definitely wins tomorrow against all odds.
I'm kind of, I can't see Matt Hardy being the champion. You're trying to legitimize your company. It's a nice
Right.
good vibe. Unless maybe Jeff Hardy has a hand in it. I don't think Moose loses to Matt Hardy. I don't think it helps you.
I think that's what they do. I think Matt Hardy goes over Moose 100% through Jeff Hardy's interference, etc. And we've got Matt Hardy. We've got the Hardy compound. We're going spooky, just like WWE's going spooky, because we want to see if we can catch thunder like they did with the Wyatt family. And we've already seen, again, the cracks, the fissures already start to kind of form with the system. And it's going to happen. So, I mean, you might as well do it coming off the back of the Hardys, and you can launch into that versus you do that versus God knows what.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't like it. I don't like it. No, you're not wrong. Like, again,
it could happen.
If it could happen to me, it could happen to you.
Again, especially with Jeff popping up, maybe they want to ride that buzz. Like, they know it's big, but Moose is such a like, you know, he's kind of become the backbone.
You have Moose go without the title, and now he challenges like a Drew for the title or anything like that. Because you fucking imagine you get a Moose versus Drew McIntyre.
One guy, at least one of those guys will not have a belt. So it will be no title involved rivalry.
Well, no, yeah, you could have Moose challenge for the world title. Imagine you do something like that.
He's gonna have to fight Gunther or Damian Priest.
Listen, let me fantasy book and cook out here. I'm out here feeling good on the hopium vitamins.
I like it. All right. Well, real quick, I hope this doesn't spoil anything, but PCO versus Rich Swann and Joe Hendry versus Frankie Kazarian. How did we get to Frankie?
I don't even know how we got the PCO and Rich Swann, to be honest. The only match that I really care about is the Knockouts World Tag Team Championship match, which was just added. It's the Hex versus Masha and Alicia. And I think that's where I was hinting to earlier, where there's one system losing the title tomorrow, and it's the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships being lost tomorrow by the system.
Alicia's gonna lose?
Yes, there's dissension. I literally saw that right before I jumped on stream for this.
Is that on the card?
Masha tried to talk to Alicia.
I don't have that on the card.
Just added.
It's just added.
Oh,
yeah.
Sons of bitches.
Masha tried to talk to Alicia, and she waved her off and said there's basically bigger issues we need to deal with. So they're losing the tag team titles to the Hex tomorrow. Allison Kay and Marty Bell.
I'm matches fine with that.
Said it again.
Sorry. I was just saying I'm fully fine with that, because I never wanted Alicia Edwards to ever hold a title in TNA, and I will say that on record. So I'm fully fine. The second she loses that, I will celebrate.
There you go. I'm with you. Screw it. The Hex is going to win. Alicia and Masha were just kind of holy shit.
They were a mash of some shit together.
They had to mash it up real quick.
Right.
They just needed every member of the system to be holding gold for a period of time. That's about it.
Right. Tony was hoping for hurricane helms.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Only 56% of the chat is picking Moose to win, by the way. That is interesting.
That's interesting.
Sentimentality playing a role again in our voting.
Right.
You got the Hardy Bros together, and in TNA, you get, I fade away until I'm obsolete. Obsolete.
I'm feeling obsolete. Yeah, Joe's definitely beating Kazarian, right? Unless that's something that's going to continue.
Yeah, that Joe is definitely beating Kazarian. I don't even know how we got here. I guess I'll find out tonight when I finish.
I think so. Do we want to take an outside guess at anyone from TNA that shows up in the NXT Battle Royal? Because I think Joe Hendry is kind of the clear odds-on favorite to absolutely show up. Now, granted, a Matt Hardy, etc., could show up as well. A top dollar could show up, but I think 100% we get a Joe Hendry versus Trick Williams. We got to whoop that, say his name.
Ooh.
I don't know how many stars they're gonna have in this battle royal from TNA, but if it's somebody I want to see other than Joe Hendry, the popular choice, I want somebody that's really not known right now to the masses. I'm going with Crazy Steve.
Crazy Steve. What about Kevin Knight?
I thought you were going to go with Kevin Knight when you said something.
Hey.
Kevin Knight is a good one too, and Leon Slater.
Leon
valid, both valid.
PCO shows up. Let's go. Fucks everybody up.
Frankenstein. Feed my Frank. Triple H would be all over of like, we're gonna get Alice Cooper to do your shit, everything.
Right. Again, how full circle would that be if he ended up back in the WWE?
He goes out. Oh, that would be like that. That's that like super wrestling nerdy poetic-y shit that I love. Like,
right,
only diehard wrestling fans will get it, but it's super poetic.
Yeah, a little bit. Now the question was, if nobody from TNA, it just happens to be other people from other places, main roster people, is it a letdown?
Yep.
Okay.
Not gonna deny it. Yes. And because I think we all kind of worried of post Battleground, was that the end of NXT or was this still going to be a thing? Was this just a one-off and then, earrings might have gotten the best of everybody there? That it, was just a one-off match, or is this going to be an ongoing partnership of, I really do want an actual pay-per-view of a Worlds Collide, like we even covered this WrestleMania weekend with House of Glory and Wrestle Revolver. You did that with NXT versus TNA. I'm all the way signed up.
Yeah, fair enough.
I guess for me, to me, it won't be a letdown. I don't know, because maybe I watch these guys weekly on TNA and it doesn't really bother me if they show up or not. I think, and I'm not talking about you, Nick. I'm not. I came off like I was talking about you, but I'm not. But to me, it's not going to bother me at all. I'm gonna be like, well, I mean, y'all kind of wanted this, so you kind of hyped this up on your own. He didn't specifically say TNA; he said other locker rooms, so it could be somebody from Raw or SmackDown, and it won't bother me. And I guess that goes back to the whole Ash by Elegance thing showing up at NXT Battleground. Like, they wanted somebody else, but it was like, who are you going to get to interfere? Because Jordan Grace has ran through the entire Knockouts division. That's the point of watching both products, because you can't have somebody like Giselle Shaw come out there. She beat Giselle Shaw. So it's like, it's wild. It's wild. So I don't know.
Yeah, we always caution the fans, right? When you get something in your head or you fantasy book it, I think WWE has led us kind of down that road, especially with the NXT. So I think there's a reason for the fans to kind of expect something. But I always caution people to, just because we think it's a good idea doesn't mean it has to happen.
Right.
But I feel like they've led us down this path a little bit.
Well, that's the delicate dance there of, you lead us down the path to, all right, now we're starting to fantasy book some things, everything, but we still have to keep in mind it's a fantasy book situation versus what they're going to actually book, and still judge it on what they actually book versus what you expect them to do. Like, all of a sudden Hulk Hogan and Captain America and fucking Wolverine are not going to show up in the fucking Impact Zone and shit like that. Like,
yeah,
let them do what they're gonna do and then judge it off that.
That's the best booking ever.
And to kind of piggyback off of what Nick said, like, when all this started with Jordan Grace, like, I was making a lot of videos about it and people were telling me to calm down because I'm making this bigger than what it was. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just giving my thoughts, but I'm not the typical IWC fan that's gonna get on here and be upset when my stuff doesn't happen. I'm just in my head thinking this could be good for TNA and we could get some really good matches if they decide to go down that road. If not, I'm good, because I'm still going to be watching TNA and WWE each week. Most of the time, it's the WWE fans that are going to be upset if somebody from TNA doesn't show up. Well, if you're watching weekly, you won't have to worry about if they're going to be on somebody's programming because they're going to be on TNA's programming.
Right. No, I mean, I love it. I love the fact that we're at a point now, and it's all companies, like, not to leave AEW out of the mix. I mean, we don't know who's going to show up on their shows. We don't,
Right.
They don't seem to either. We don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing, is we don't know, and neither do they.
But yeah, I mean, it will be very compelling to see how this all plays out with Against All Odds. And then leading into Slammiversary. It's a big show. If they have a chance to put some names on it, and it goes both ways. But I did like the fact that Moose was like NXT.
Right.
That was my favorite part of this so far. But it should be interesting. I think we're gonna get something.
Absolutely.
My prediction: pain.
That's it. I got no polls left, so I think we're out of predictions.
Yeah, we're and now the time is near, and so I face the final curtain.
Well, on that wonderful note, ladies and gentlemen,
I was gonna say I was waiting for somebody to cut me off.
Yeah, 100%. This is our final curtain. Our double duty is done tonight. Tomorrow, a busy day here on the channel. We're going to cover all the shows. We're even going to be here for the kickoff tomorrow morning. If you want to come hang out, talk a little bit of wrestling, kill a little bit of time. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the kickoff's going to happen. We can kind of revisit some of this stuff. Plus, we got SmackDown. We got Too Fast, Too Furious.
Absolutely.
We got SmackDown. We got Against All Odds. We got Rampage. And then, of course, Saturday, we're coming back with Clash at the Castle. We are still covering more wrestling than anybody can shake a stick at. It's been a fun time. Gentlemen, great job in court today. We will be back with more Wrestling Court and, of course, covering more live wrestling than anybody else out there. Either one of you have any final thoughts?
I'll be back on Saturday for the TNA review. We'll be talking about Against All Odds, and we'll be talking about the Hardy Compound from tonight and whatever else happens on TNA Impact. So we'll be covering all of it.
Beautiful. Mr. Nick?
The wrestling may suck, but we never do often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated. Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you talk about that wrestling, but put that for life with it.
Come back tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side. Thank you so much. Good night.